Recall this moment from Stephen A. Smith when he was confronted by Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James in March of 2025. Fast forward to October.
Let me get to LeBron. I don't like his not a little bit. You do not understand the links this man would go to. This dates back more than a decade. I believe he's one way publicly, he's another way privately. You know, he might not be interviewed and he might not be quoted, but the things he says and the things he has said to people, it's gotten back to me. The things that he's tried to do, if it were up to him, I wouldn't be where I am today. It's some low. The day that he rolled up on me courtside, it was the day my contract was announced, that I had stayed with ESPN. Go back and look at the camera angles. I arrived there in the first quarter. He rolled up on me in the third quarter. This is 2025. We got technology everywhere. TNT is a nationally televised game. How is it we got one angle and the only angle you see was of him and his face, but you see the back of my peanut head? I know this, but I know a thing or two about camera angles. I determine them half the time.
Yep.
Do this angle, do this angle, do that angle. This is my business.
I ask you straight up, do you think you felt set up in that moment?
Damn right I did.
You thought he had somebody out there too?
Damn right that did.
Okay.
Damn right. That's how I feel.
Okay.
But no big deal. No problem.
And Stephen A. is still talking about it. This time on Carmelo Anthony's podcast, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. An obvious follow-up here, by the way. If it's no big deal, why are you bringing it up? But that's not all, of course.
Well, guess what? I found a way to win anyway. So this is what I've done. And so, you know, what you see is a different culture. And that's a conversation we never get into it really about in professional sports, but primarily the NBA, where you got cats and they go at NBA players and stuff like that. Like, you know, you bring up LeBron. You ever see LeBron go at a white boy? It's called what it is. You ever see him do that? You saw him come at me. Closest you ever came to seeing him do something like that was when he called out Brian Windhorst. What you calling out Brian Windhorst for? The man covered you since junior high school and has praised you repeatedly. And you used the Pat McAfee situation to go at him. You understand? And that's the only time you ever seen LeBron James, you know, really go at somebody white. I'm going to call it what it is. You know, so we understand each other. You know, I understand a lot more. And I'll tell you, I'll divulge to my boy and his boy right here, you know, when I did my monologue for 17 and a half, 18 minutes, the day after he decided to go on Pat McAfee's show, all right? And I said what I said and meant every syllable of what I said. Immediately after, I was informed that we won't be hearing more from him about me. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Because I got receipts. Anytime, any place, anywhere. It's not just him. I pride myself on being a fair-minded individual, being professional, but I'm also a proud black man.
He also went at LeBron James on the Pivot podcast. Are you catching the theme?
I will come and apologize publicly. See, with somebody like LeBron, you ain't get no apology. I'm too little. I'm too meaningless. I'm too insignificant for somebody like him to be man enough to say, yo, you really didn't do that to my son. You were really calling me out. I was the one that, you know, whether it's getting him into the draft, getting him drafted by the Lakers, having him brought up from the G League, putting him up against Tyrese Maxey in the first quarter on a night after he was in the G League the night before. I didn't call those things out until that last part happened. I didn't say anything when he's a McDonald All-American and he was only averaging 14 points a game. I didn't say anything when he went to USC and he had the heart ailment and people were speculating about why that was.
What does this mean? Speculating why that was? Like, what is that? Now, many would weigh in.
But I would say, you know, bigger than going at, I guess, white sports pundits, like we've seen LeBron James be a voice for social justice, you know, in a racially divided country. Like we've seen him do that a lot. We've seen him position himself, you know, throughout his career as a leader on those type of issues. And, you know, somebody of his stature don't have to speak out against a lot of the things that LeBron has spoken out against. So, I mean, you know, saying he never went at a white sports pundit, I don't know if that's even true or not, but I've seen him stand up against white supremacy. LeBron has used his platform to speak on political and social issues.
Yes.
He's done things like, mobilize black voters. He's fought against voter suppression. He did that in response, to the death of George Floyd. I've seen LeBron James stand up and speak on issues, especially in regards to race, that he doesn't have to at his level.
Yeah.
So I like that more than going at, a white sports.
But I guess he's
like Charlemagne at the Breakfast Club.
Mello, how are you going to have Stephen A. Smith on your pod discussing his more than played out beef with LeBron, man? Like, LeBron is your man, bro. Like, I done fell out with some I thought was my brothers, but I ain't gonna let nobody else talk about him in front of me. You know what I'm saying? That was your man, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, and everybody accept you as a cool dude, Mello. You chill, you know what I'm saying? But from a content standpoint, Stephen A. Smith hot right now. I ain't finna attack that man, what he's saying. I don't agree with a lot of what he's saying, but I'm going to always give him his propers for the way he fought to be relevant in black journalism with the Philadelphia Inquirer. So I'm going to give him his propers for that. But it's a lot of things he say I don't agree with. And one of the main things is the way he deal with certain black celebrities as opposed to white ones.
On this whole not going at a white boy jargon, let's be honest. LeBron goes at white boys, man. He despises the most powerful white boy in the land, Donald Trump. He has gone at Fox Sports host, former D1 college basketball player, and current University of Wisconsin Green Bay head coach Doug Gottlieb. He has gone at Brian Windhorst on Pat McAfee's show. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this, Stephen A? BSO would tweet, I'm just going to assume Stephen A. and every podcast he's been on, including his own, looked at the numbers when he says he hates LeBron and was like, this has to be a topic every single time. That's how it works in our business. Numbers don't lie. Slauson Boy added, every day Stephen A. goes on a podcast to say stuff about LeBron that he wouldn't say to his face. All right, a few points here. The first is Stephen A. Smith is doing the car wash once again. And this comes on the heels of this man getting trounced by influential black folks, whether they are politicians, activists, all across the spectrum of having a very prominent voice. Journalists, authors, athletes. I mean, he is getting fried online. And he did two things in the wake of his criticisms of Jasmine Crockett, which I need to be very clear if you haven't seen our previous videos. There are ways to criticize someone like Jasmine Crockett. No one is perfect. She's been soft. So soft on Israel. She has been soft on fighting corporate greed. There is a reason why a lot of leftists see through it. But he decided to go at her because of the way that she speaks, and that she should essentially be trying to work with the same people that vilify her and treat her like a second-class citizen. So he received a ton of backlash for that. And then what did he do? Maybe she was scheduled, maybe she wasn't, but he paraded his daughter. And now, when he also gets criticism for, according to these critiques, that he goes harder at black women than white folks, he turns around and says, you know what your problem is, LeBron? You don't go hard at white folks. And then, I will say this. He made it his job when he did this Car Wash of podcasts to mention Max Kellerman. Now that Max Kellerman has moved on and is doing stuff for Netflix, he is doing boxing broadcasts, has a podcast. He needs someone to talk about. He could not stop bringing up Max Kellerman. And now that well has run dry, he's got to find a new one. And this is it. It's the LeBron angle in potentially his last year. I don't think it is. But potentially his last year, second to last year. And let me tell you, I know a lot of folks might think that BSO's tweet is wrong. It's not. I've gone on the record before stating this, that I have been in those meetings where we talk about what the numbers have been and, you know, what could be done better. If Skip Bayless, who practically, you know, co-created Stephen A. Smith along with Stephen A. Smith, if Skip Bayless can have an entire team of people monitoring what does well and what doesn't do well just on social media, Stephen A. has a team as well. I promise you. I promise. So none of this is surprising. I'm continually floored at how obtuse his analysis is. But this is who he is. He's practically trying to be like a sports influencer at this point because in his previous life he was a journalist. So it is what it is. It still feels really icky, but in the year 2025, this is the lane that he will continue to operate in.